Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an injured warrior of the Midwest, and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, who has given us the Injil, the gospel of revelations, with the Injil key that gives us the understanding of the unsealed scriptures. This presentation is titled The Lull Before the Storm. However, before we get into that, we're going to go through our introduction of the Holocaust. The Holocaust. The Holocaust. The 400 plus years of terror and horror that we have lived through here in the hills of North America. This horror and terror that they would like to erase. They would like to erase it from history. They would like everyone to forget what America done to the black man and woman of America. The original man. God's chosen people. The true seed of Abraham. They want to make it a theory. They want to call what they've done a theory. Now, how does that work? How do you take history, your history, of how you treated someone else, and try to write it in as it's a theory when everything else is factual? You take everything else of your history and you make note of it. You speak on it heavily. You worship your forefathers. You take everything else and glorify it, but you don't want to take responsibility for what you've done to the black man and woman. You don't want to take responsibility for dehumanizing a people. You don't want to take responsibility for taking our language, our God, our culture. You don't want to take responsibility for the raping of our women, the raping of our men, the sodomizing of us, the castrating us. You don't want to take responsibility for the terror and horror that you inflicted on us. But you want to keep everything that you gained while doing it. You want to keep the lands. You want to keep us in your control. The lands that you stole from the natives of land. You want to hide the fact that you were taking our babies, going hunting alligators with our children. You want to erase the fact that you took our children and encaged them, told them that they were animals, raised them like animals, raised us all like animals. You want to hide that you was feeding us out of troughs. You want to hide the fact that you was literally feeding us shit. Shitterlings, pig guts, pig hog intestines with shit in them. You want to hide the fact that you was feeding us cow dung, which is shit again. Just going out into the field picking up shit and finding it and giving it to us, giving us cow dung, feeding us cow dung, giving us the minimum to survive on as you maximize your profit. But as you terrorize us 24/7, 365, as you housed us in shacks, we slept on the floor in these shacks, these little quarters, or some of us slept with the animals in the barns, because we was considered animals. You fed us in troughs like animals. You hung us for fun for your festivals and for your get-togethers over the weekend. We were used as for the entertainment, as we were whipped, beat, stoned, literally stoned us, spitting on us, as we was strung up, hung for nothing. We was strung up and put a fire up under us and just burnt us by the stake, as they made their children watch, and they partied and drank and celebrated as we was being lynched, tortured, hung, or burnt for their entertainment. As they watched, did you see that nigga's eyes pop out his head? Did you see his tongue? I want his ears. Give me a finger to take with me. That's what they were doing, taking parts of the bodies. And then they tell their children, this is what you do to niggas. They wasn't hiding it from their children then. They was making them watch it. Making their hearts cold, even and colder. This is how we are. This is our nature. This is their nature. This is the Caucasian white man's nature. They didn't want to hide it then. Now you want to try to sweep it up under the rug. You don't want our children to know or what you were doing to their ancestors, to their forefathers and mothers. You don't want them to know. You want to act like you've been on your best. You think you ain't on your best behavior now. They know how the police never forget, brothers and sisters. The police is made to police to police the black man, to police the slave. Police wasn't made to police white folks. That's why white folks act like they do in front of police, and the police don't do shit. Nothing. That's why they can cuss the police out. That's why when you see them, they willing to wrestle and fight the police and nothing happens to them. But if you throw your hands up, black man throw his hands up too fast, he getting shot down. He don't have to have nothing or try to do nothing. He's gonna get shot down. But that's because they only police the black man. They're not supposed to police. They don't police their own. However, they want you to forget what they done to us in this Holocaust. But we're not. This Holocaust, this 400 years plus of terror and horror is coming back on them. They're going to receive their consequence. They're not getting away from their consequence. They can try to hide whatever they want, but we're not going to let it go. America is being judged right now. They're not getting out of this judgment. They're not getting out of the consequences. So, the Holocaust we're never letting it go. No. We're going to keep informing our people and keep letting them know what this horror and terror was about, what America has done to the black man and woman. We would never let that go. And they are being judged as we speak. So let us get into our topic of today. So, the lull before the storm. This topic is timely. With everything that's taking place around the world, with the angel vision and the knowledge of the unsealed scriptures, coming more and more into vision every day, being able to see war on all fronts. The war in the Middle East boiling at its boiling point. The war in Russia at its boiling point. The war with China heating up, getting to its boiling point. So, the lull before the storm. The how, why everything is happening. A plan is being formed. So it looks like, or it seems like, America is quiet. Extremely quiet. They're acting as if they don't know why. China's upset with them. Oh, why are you upset, China? Pelosi is just one of our highest ranking member of Congress. That is going to visit Taiwan in your country, and you run your country, and you told us don't come, and we say that us being America, that we're in agreement with your rules and laws. We agree that you're the with your one China law. So we agree to that. However, we're coming in to destabilize this country that has a problem with you, that we're trying to get to really stand up against you when we're backing their independence. But we don't know why you're upset. Then America's over in Russia. They pull over $24 billion into a war, a proxy war, a war that America has funded against Russia. America and its allies in the UN has funded, they've put the money, the proceeds behind the war in Ukraine. The Ukrainian people, or the Ukrainian government, hasn't put has put a very small amount of money compared to billions of dollars. They haven't put $10 billion in themselves on their own war. America has funded this entire war. And they're acting like they don't know why Russia is upset. So, America, they're in the Middle East. They said they were pulling out, but they just made it known. They're not pulling out of the Middle East. They're going to stand and defend their allies. They see that they were making a bad mistake, and they're going to stay in the Middle East and defend their investment. So they're sitting in Syria, occupied in Syria, a country that is not theirs, that they've welcomed themselves in, and they have opened up a base, set an army base up in Syria, the country of Syria, unwelcome, and they are stealing oil. So, and they don't know what's wrong with Syria. And they have a problem with Iran because Iran will not submit to the Caucasian rule, or the white Caucasian or American rule, or false Israel's rule. And that they keep pushing for their own independence and their own developments and their economics, they're pushing for their own economic growth and their own development. So America is done like that because they hold there with them controlling America, controlling all the other countries, and Iran's growing and now producing, having a nuclear power plant and having a nuclear capabilities of a weapon that they can't be equal to false Israel or to the American proxy false Israel, because that's what false Israel is American proxy. False Israel is Americans proxy terrorist squad. Terrorist squad that goes through the Middle East, causing terror on the people in the Middle East, and especially everybody, all the nations that are against them. So they terrorize the Palestinians, they terrorize Lebanon, Hezbollah, they terrorize the Jihad, they terrorize Iranian, they terrorize Syria, and they go through and they do what they want to do. They bomb. They step in. They bomb people's homes, houses. They are hitmen. They go through assassinate people. They go to door, knocking on doors, knocking through to go into going homes and siege and jail or kill anybody that looks as if they're strong enough, smart enough to give a resistance to false Israel on behalf of their people. And anybody with any type of smart brains and resistance to false Israel is a terrorist, is the jihad, is considered a senior official of a terrorist organization against false Israel. But the people themselves ain't against false Israel, but that's a lie. The people themselves don't want nothing to do with false Israel. False Israel, they act like they just going through the jihads, like the jihad, or just the terrorists have homes there. They're going through any and everybody's home, all the Palestinian homes and area, knocking door to door, taking this fight to them, making it known that they're going to clean out. They're they're on a search and siege mission for any senior officials or anybody that they have perceived to have a will to stand up for their people and go and stand up for their people and will go to war for the rights of their people. So you're considered an threat. Now, so they're on the warpath. The moves are being made calculated. They're speaking their military. Natalie Bennett says he will remove the jihad one way or another. That they're opposing and they're pushing and their aggression on the Palestinians is to force the Palestinians to have to retaliate and do something. So when they start speaking on a retaliation measure that they're going to go into because of the pressuring and the forcing and the walking through and the collecting and jailing or killing their they call them senior officers, they're seniors in their community, or they're valuable age men that can stand and oppose against false Israel, those that have the will to stand up for their people against false Israel, they are going in and pulling them out of their homes no matter what they're doing. They're being forced. So, they speak on having to go to war, or they're going to go. So false Israel airstrikes them. And then have the media tell you what they want to tell you. That they done it because of they was talking about what they was going to do. But you're forcing them to do something about what you're doing. But see, brothers and sisters, this is an existential threat that is going on. And this threat is the time that we're in. This time that we're in, false Israel is feeling an existential threat. America is feeling this existential threat. A threat to their very existence. And what is producing this threat? Consequence of the 400 years of terror and horror. Consequence of what you did to God's chosen people. The Injil, the 7 broken seals, the 7 loose seals that the Son of Man or Joshua or Master Suleiman has broke, has loosed. And this Injil vision, the vision of the Abrahamic covenant, is being made and being brought in by the Son of Man. And the scriptures are unfolding. And the lies and the deceit is catching up with the liars. It's catching up with them. And they feel the hairs on the back of their neck standing up from fear, because they know they can see what time it is. So, as our people are in the eye of the storm, in the eye where it's quiet, that's the eye, not the low. Our people is in the eye, unaware of what's taking place around them, unaware of the destruction or the storm that is falling, that is brewing in their midst. They've been deceived and lied to. They've looking at spook gods, and they're in the belief matrix. They won't accept what can be proven. They won't even pay attention to what is happening through what the scriptures, the unsealed scriptures and the scriptures alone tell them what's going to happen, what part of time they're in. And the liars and the deceivers see this threat from the inside, from the outside. They're witnessing this. So they have to go into motion. They've got a plan. They're gathering. They don't move without planning far in advance. They understand. They plan war. They're warmongers. They've set snares and set up countries to snare and to keep confusion and everything going. That's a plan of theirs, to keep control of the world, to keep control of the nation, to keep the nation separated, so they can use their energy, control their energy. But they see their power shifting. They know that they can't wait another 5 years, because they won't be able to do anything with China. They know that they can't wait another 5 years because they wouldn't be able to do nothing with Russia. They're understanding this, so they see that their civilization, they know that they can't definitely go another 5 years with Iran. So they see all these threats, and these threats is essential threats to their power, to their existence. To their civilization. So they are planning for war. They have been planning for war. They're pushing the agenda. They're paying the proxies. They have, when you say proxies, Ukraine is an American proxy terrorist cell. False Israel is a American proxy terror cell. Taiwan is being used as American proxy terrorist cell, trying to separate or be put in a position to where America can have sway or keep the continent or that area fighting against each other. But America feels the pressure all around it. So, the lull before the storm. You see war here. You see the war in Russia forming. The war in the Middle East. The war with China forming. You're not hearing much, but they're planning. And they're pushing and forcing, trying to make others move into a way to where they can get off their ideas. So they forcing you to move like they want you to move. So we're looking on. And it's quiet somewhat. It's not quiet, but it's you're not seeing, you don't see exactly what they have brewing up. So you hear the thunder and you see the lightning, but the storm ain't came in yet. It's all brewing up. It's just like the tornado. You know, that low before the tornado hit, you know, being in the Midwest, and then lived through some tornadoes, seen them, heard them, watched them form and everything. But right before they hit, it's like a pin drop quiet. It's like you can hear a pin drop. It's like no sound. Like the air that been snatched out the room, like it's almost airless or something. It's air, but it's like quiet. And then you hear the freight, you hear the noise, you hear the storm, you hear the wind, you hear the storm coming up on you with just it goes from no air or quiet to wind and things being tossed, torn up, and wrecked everywhere. I mean, just it's there. So that's what's taking place. You see all the thunder is thunder, because that's how the storm be. That's how it be. It be thundering, it be hailing and lightning. It be, you see all these things forming. You see the thunder, you see the lightning, you see the hail, like you see war in Russia, about to see the war in Iran, which is going to be the ignition. That's the real ignition. But you see it forming. And like the storm, you'll see lightning, thunder, hail. Before it really hits, all that turns into, it goes from straight thunder, lightning, and hail to before that storm, before that wind, before that tornado or that cyclone, that thunderstorm, or that water, that wind hits you, it start tearing up everything. So they're feeling the threat to their existence. They know that who their enemies are. They're planning, as the scriptures, they're planning to go to war. They're planning to eliminate their enemies. They know that they're not the true seed of Abraham. They know that they haven't been through 400 years of slavery. They know that they're sitting in a land up under a stolen identity in someone else's land. They know that they done took the identity of God's chosen people. They know that they're in cahoots with America in this plan against the righteous. They know that America is being judged. They know that they're being judged. They know they worship the Passover. False Israel. America knows all the lying and all the preparation and all the counterintelligence program that they have put together and funded and founded and took and put in the chief demon to in his counterintelligence to and put him in the seat of their enemies' temple, over the people, over their enemies, to debunk the truth that was given to them by their God and through their messenger, and that is being reiterated and brought back to them through the unsealed scriptures by the messenger of the covenant, by the Jesus and the Joshua, or the Son of Man, that is speaking and giving them the understanding, the 360 degrees of knowledge from the 22 chapters of the Injil, divided by the 7 broken seals, which is 3.14, which is that 360 degrees of knowledge, and showing you in a mathematical way and bringing and making the word of God happen, bringing it in, making it happen. The one that is making the word happen that is bringing in this threat on their lives, on their civilization, because the scriptures tell you through the Abraham's, through the covenant, through the Exodus, through Revelations, in Revelations, in the Injil, it shares with you what's about to take place, what is going on after the 400 years of Abraham's seed being in this strange land. I will come, raise them up. I will come myself, raise one of them, and I will judge the nation that they served. And I will bring them out with great substance. And that nation I'm going to bring them out with great substance and give them the land from the great river, great river Egypt, to the river Euphrates. It shares with you. I'm going to take that nation, and it's letting you know who that nation is. Who are those that afflicted God's people? They're the devils. They're Satan. And their world, their civilization is going to be taken out, removed, period. They're going to be wiped out. So they know, and they're those that are with them, Ishmaelites, those that know what their record is, what they have done, and where their position is against the true seed of Abraham. They know that this time that they're in is coming to take them out of existence. So they're feeling an existential threat on their lives. And brothers and sisters, that's what's going to cause them to attack you or us as a people, because our resurrection, our rise, our unity brings an end to their civilization. Once we rise, once Lazarus rise and we come together, that's going to bring an end to their existence. So they have a plan, and they're quiet, in a sense, preparing to execute their plan. However, Allah is the best planner. The Injil has shared, and it's all there. The unsealed scriptures let us know what they're planning, what we must be doing, and who's the best planner. that Allah has planned. And the scriptures tell you, if the God did not intervene, that life, there will be no more life left. Because if they can't have the world, they can't rule the world, they can't have a civilization, they can't rule, and if they're being taken out, they're going to scorch the earth. They're going to try to take out nature. They've never cared about nature. If you see, they've been knowing about climate change and whatever, how they're doing the world for over 100 years. They still haven't changed any. They haven't really made any substantial change to help the environment or anything, because they don't care about nature. That's nature, natural. Well, they have no care of it. They don't care because it's not theirs. It's not theirs. This is not their world. This is not their. They're only here for a short length of time, so they'll scorch the earth. Is their plan. But Allah is the best planner. And it seems like nothing's gonna happen. Not like you can see, like they're in charge, or they're bombing. They're bombs, and they have all these weapons, and they're big, and they're puffing up, and and you see the Son of Man, Master Suleiman, Joshua, and the injured warriors, and you see just speaking and telling you the truth, and confident and laid back, and it seems, they just quiet. But Michael and his angels are about to go in motion any moment, any day now. Michael and his angels, Iran and Syria, is about to go in action any moment. Their 12th email, Master Farah Muhammad, is their 12th email, and he is about to go into motion any day now, and they're going to go to war with the dragon and his angels in heaven, which is the Middle East, the House of Saudi Arabia, Britain and America, false Israel, and those other 6 Sunni nations that have made an alliance with Satan, false Israel, underneath this Abraham Accord. Because they are in the accord to keep the true seed of Abraham, or attack or go to war with them as true seed of Abraham as well, because they are all in cahoots to keep the seed there of Abraham from returning, or they have a common enemy, and they know why the seed of Abraham is their enemy. They can see, they have understanding. It's a plan. It's a plan that they've been working and planning, and there have been obstacles and pain and trying to keep this covenant from coming, to keep the seed of Abraham, keep this covenant from coming to fruition or out. They've been trying to take out the lamb or the child. The nation of Islam, the children, they've been trying to take out, or they've been sitting waiting to take Lazarus. As soon as he rise, they want to cut his head off, cut the baby's head off. They want to get rid of us. That's what they are planning to do, because they know for a fact of who we are. So as they rising up, it's quiet. It's before the storm. It's quiet. The lull before the storm. It's quiet. And after that quiet point, all you're going to see is destruction. And it's going to start with that war in the Middle East. And once Master Farad Muhammad and Shia Muslims get rid of Saudi, go to war with the dragon. Once Michael and the angels go to war with the dragon and his angels, kicking Saudi Arabia out, kicking Britain and America out the Middle East, sieging and destroying false Israel, destroying it. It's going to be the shock of the hour. It's going to open up the eyes of all nations, all people. It's going to scare, a lot of people going to faint for the truth that is being placed on their minds and hearts, on their heads, that they're not going to be able to shake. They're going to quiver in their shoes for the wrong that they have done against the true seed of Abraham. They're going to feel everything that their parents have done, because all of them will come back. They all have been brought back to get their just due, to get their consequence. And this storm is going to hit them all in 1 year, and simultaneous these plagues is going to roll on them, and everything is going to happen in a 1 year period. This storm, once it starts, it's not going to stop until they are gone. We are gone. We are gone back to our land, back home. But this existential threat, the scriptures, the Injil, the Son of Man, the children, the Abraham's seed, all these, this is producing. They can see, oh, we gotta do something. It's real. We have made the biggest mistake, and you're not going to get away with it. The storm is coming. Judgment is rolling down the street. You can't get away from it. Brothers and sisters, we have to prepare. You have to, when you see this, when you see America and Britain kicked out the Middle East, when you see false Israel seized and destroyed, we have to get together and flee, because this existential threat, you're not ready for what they have. Their minds is going to click into something that you're not expecting or you're not ready for, because their existence is on the line, and murder is just the other side of existing. So it's a part of living. They're going to start exterminating us. To try to exist. So we must move into certain locations so we can unify and make sure that we can secure our people. So we're moving. We're going to flee into 3 areas that we're speaking on right now. Chicago, that is mentioned. Indiana and Detroit. So with that, I'm going to bring this session to a close. It may seem like the lull before the storm. We're in that lull, that quiet time, and the storm hits. It's no turning back. It's not going to stop. The storm is going to keep raging and raging and raging till the civilization these people are gone. And with that, I'm going to bring this to a close. I'm going to greet you as I came in the greeting words of Assalamu alaikum.